Cool. All right. Is Amy joining us, or do you?
She is. So I guess whenever she drops in,
Sure.
we can kind of
Yeah.
chat with her.
How are you guys on time-wise and stuff? This is a shorter interview than what we did before. It's just more of a follow-up since you guys actually been doing work, and we all want to talk about the future. We want to talk about I don't know how your quarantining went, and
But
yeah, I mean we're recording, so I'll cut this all up. But James, we met in Wisconsin.
Right.
At the what was that? That was the Meg Myers thing. And I don't know if it was called something, Oktoberfest or something. And then November we chatted with you, and you're in LA. And so we've been doing these follow-ups, and they kind of happen by happenstance because a lot of bands like yourself got stuck at the beginning of the year. And we realized that you guys need a little bit more support than you could imagine, and because you can't really get out there as much. And we care about the ones that we've had on the show before, and every show ends where we talk about the future. And you had a Christmas album coming out. You had a lot of optimism because it was the end of the year, and 2020 was just like endless and open. And the most open I would imagine is in that room you're in with, you've been opening up your guitar collection.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we appreciate having us on the broadcast. Yeah, I think it was like that for a lot of people. We wish that we could have made more of a year with a tour schedule and all that. But I mean, it's funny how when one door opens, another, or when one door closes, another opens, or something like that. So we've kind of like gone with the flow, I guess. You could say it's not like we're too bummed out. It's halfway over anyway. So it's kind of like on to the next, and a lot of good things coming out. Like this Friday, we're releasing our debut LP, Souvenirs, which is great. And it's funny because we were wrapping this up, I think, the last time we talked.
Yep, I was just, you took care of question one, which was, I know you have these 2 singles. Normally it's a hint when bands put out a single and then like another single, and you kind of gave us that exclusive, so to speak, and you're like, there is an LP in the works. And so there's that answer. So that's Friday.
Yeah, that's this Friday.
Cool.
And tomorrow they're premiering the video for the Focus single ahead of the release. So it sounds kind of confusing, but what I mean is like they're releasing the first single tomorrow along with the video just before Friday, when you can expect the full release.
What's the single?
It's a song called "Miss You."
Oh, "Miss You." I saw that on your Twitter feed. I believe someone posted something.
Right.
I wasn't sure if it was you just missing everybody, or you're doing a cover of who does that? Blink-182.
Right. Just any and all.
Any and all.
Everything, really. I'm sending this to her because she's for whatever reason, did not get this link.
The calendar invite?
Yeah, I think everybody has their own version of like where they use Skype, Zoom.
Yeah, it used to just be. And what's funny is no one just continued with Skype. I haven't Skyped since, and that was like our go-to because it was easy to record, and everyone had it. I mean, this was around Google, but I think it was something else. I think they had Hangout or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I have to ask that question, like, what do you prefer? Because one, for me, the quality matters. Zoom has the best quality in video and recording, but I'm gonna try this out later just to see how it's. I mean, it sounds like it should, but
I feel good about Google products usually, or just in general.
They're almost like too easy.
Right.
Hi, Amy.
Here she is.
are you?
I'm good. So, James, you're in LA.
Right.
So, Aimme, you are in a very interesting room.
This is my living room / studio / kitchen.
Oh, that's a mirror behind you. I thought that was like a big,
Yes.
yeah, over there. It looked like a
Yeah.
industrial item or something.
And I'm trying to position myself to cover up all the makeup I have on my floor behind me.
Oh, it's
also
like
where I get ready.
angry artist. Where? So where are you at?
I'm in as well, just a different apartment.
Oh, okay. You could just lean out and just say, James, I got a backup vocal for you.
Friends all lived in the same building or place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, when you guys are doing material, have you, a lot of bands have also gone the route of this, and they'll do their a version of, like, I know you had acoustic versions of some of your songs prior, but have you looked into doing, like, because you have the album coming out, like doing a band Zoom recording quarantine session?
We're discussing it.
I don't know. I don't know if you had something in mind already.
Yeah.
We've kind of been on and off with a few different ideas, but nothing works as good as just like, I'd say, I don't know, nothing, but Zoom is kind of tricky because, depending on if what kind of internet service or signal you have, it can get a little dicey.
Yeah, and especially when you're getting in the middle of like a really good tune, you're like, oh, there. Aimme got cut out. Aimme's cut out. Sorry.
Yeah. I worry about there being a delay if we're playing in real time.
True.
I think we should all just get tested, go do some type of live stream thing together, and then
it'll promote. There you go. You're promoting getting tested.
Yeah.
And then everyone in Oklahoma will be mad at you because they don't have.
I know people that are getting tested like once a week.
Yeah. I just heard that in the news. It's like, I'm in Chicago and I can go, but apparently there's a line elsewhere. Okay, that's not why we're here. So Aimme, just so I'm recording this. I have not recorded a Google Meets before, so it'll go somewhere. I'm hoping to get audio out of it for the actual like on-air part. But it's recorded. I'm going to chop it all up and make it into little bits. But this, you weren't in the first session because you were busy. I'm sure you were cleaning your floor. Something over there. But James and I had talked back in November. I met you guys in Wisconsin. You guys did that whole.
I remember.
Yeah, I'm surprised a lot of people did because there was so much beer.
I was not drinking that night.
Oh, James, I think you and I cheersed at some point.
Yeah.
And
I think everybody.
Everyone in the band besides me and Emily are fans of beer. So I would say that's accurate, right?
Fun fact. Yeah. I've actually found drinking less appealing being in quarantine. Like, you would think that would be like the pro thing. Like, oh yeah, I just can't do it. Yeah, true. Yeah. So we're doing these new follow-ups. We were basically checking in with bands and their new stuff. So we would have done this anyways, but it became a thing where we were interviewing these bands at the end of last year, beginning of this year, with wide-eyed and bushy-tailed about the 2020 and looking so much forward to the year. And then we wanted to touch base with a lot of you guys and say, hey, how's it been? And you have 2 singles out. I knew of the LP, so we're going to talk about that. So we normally have a longer, so this is within a 2-hour show, but it's like, this part is pretty much like 30 minutes that will get chopped up. We'll play the 2 new tracks and Miss You as well. And then I don't know, we'll just kind of go from there. So the first single that popped out, so you had a Christmas album that was kind of what everyone was doing. So, there's not too much behind the scenes of that. But the 2 singles, so with Baby Teeth and I'm blanking on the other one because I had it right in front of me because it's a long
What They Call Life.
Yes. So that ironically came out first, which now is what a lot of people say, that this is what we call life now. Was this connected in mind to an LP, or were these just going to be, let's see how these go, I just want to get these out?
So they were always part of the first volume of Souvenirs, volume 1, volume 2.
Okay.
It's just we thought that they'd be great to start with and then kind of build up towards our focus single, or focus track, which is Miss You.
Mm-hmm.
So all three of them kind of were like, put in place to kind of sort of build an interest and get sort of people kind of talking and that sort of thing.
And I'm trying to put a connection between. So what's the name? The name of the album is
Souvenirs.
Souvenirs.
Yeah.
So Souvenir. So baby teeth would be a souvenir.
Right.
But a life, what they call a life. Yeah. So Miss You is the new single. Is there a connection between the three songs that deal with this, like a person, or just a collect? What's the story? What is the souvenir, and how do these three tracks, like you said, this kind of like the trinity of the album? How's the connection?
Well, I think generally speaking, the name Souvenirs came about because we have these sort of like relics from our past that are maybe even symbolic of what's going on in our music. And each relic or symbol is sort of reflecting or voicing a certain emotion or whatever. And I think with Baby Teeth and these three songs, I don't think they're necessarily any different from the overall theme, which is Souvenirs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just the strongest songs at the time, so we chose them for our sing, to kind of get things going. And I think it's like looking back on that, I think maybe we would have now should pick different songs, but
you got time.
What's that?
I said you got time. You're not really hitting the road, so
every new song we write is our favorite song.
Of course.
So that's how it goes. The Souvenirs is just a collection of our experiences of what we were going through when we were writing each particular song.
Yeah.
And Aimme, you I know have done a lot in the sense of the vocals. How much of you are in the songwriting process?
More so this year than before. I've kind of like evolved into my place in the group, so I'm doing a lot more songwriting now with James, and this first volume you start to hear me sing a little bit more on the leads and things like that, but I would say once we get to volume 2, you really see how it all came together.
And I also see that you've taken the souvenirs off your walls, and that explains why you have a lot of things to say. And James, so the Miss You video is coming. Is that out yet? No, that's not out yet. Is it?
Tomorrow, right?
It is tomorrow. Yes. I don't want to give too much. We're not live. That's the good news. We can sit here.
Okay.
But I remember he said that, and I'm usually pretty good with catching up. I love videos, and I pick them apart. Be warned, because I love how they we're doing the interpretation of what the song is and how they connect, but then the video it has to almost either stand alone or be completely about what the song is about. Who did this video? And who was the behind the scenes? Because we're gonna piece this apart to make it out to be like we've seen it, it's out. So who put it together, and who was the mastermind behind the creation of the Miss You video?
Okay, so it was directed by this guy named Alessandro Bordini, I think is his last name.
Alessandro Bordini.
Yes.
Right.
Italian?
He's a great director. He So younger director, he works at a company called Under Wonder Content, which is a great company. And we were fortunate to film our first video with them, and then they kind of helped us during the quarantine to get this all figured out, which was really challenging in and of itself. But you wouldn't think that by watching the video. It has a very natural feel. And I think
when was it shot?
It was shot like in like the beginning of May.
We were definitely in phase 2.
Yeah, it was shot. It was shot on Memorial. It was shot on Memorial Day, on Monday, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shot on Memorial Day.
Very recent. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, the video almost didn't happen. We didn't know if we were going to be able to have one, you know?
Yeah, it was
within the guidelines. We got it done.
Yeah. What was the what restrictions? Because you've done videos before, and you're a band that is pretty, like, your imagery online is right now very colorful, and you're always together. But how much
We're not together.
You're not together, right? So you're not physically together now, but it's like, how did this work with making a video that, because this is how the big question is about, like, the music, the movie and TV industry is, in the sense of, do we continue with, or do we just suck it up and say, this is where we are and this is how we're going? Was there, did the director already have something in mind and then he had to change it, or how much adjustment did you guys have to do to get this done?
Well, we had less people than we would have wanted.
Present or in the band?
Outside of the band, just for actors, things like that. We couldn't obviously hire
extras. Okay.
Well, I mean, initially the whole like love story aspect of the video wasn't supposed to be me and James. It was supposed to be 2 actors, and we were supposed to do all the performance stuff. So that was
awkward. It's like when
it's fun. It's all good.
Okay.
We had a blast, and we, for the most part, all our shots were separate. So, we just kept it very contained, and everyone was wearing masks unless you were in front of the camera, things like that.
Good. Okay, that's good to hear.
I would say it was pretty thorough. It was pretty thorough and safe in terms of, like, the people there who were in charge were extremely, like, stringent on, like, wear masks, this, that, the other, and there's not a single scene where we're all in one space. So, like, you wouldn't think about it because the way it's written is such, but there's never one part where you're like, oh, like, those people are, breaking the thing. Except I think there's a shot where I'm, like, on the couch with a couple of my friends in the video.
It's outdoors.
Yeah, but they're actually working. Those guys were working on set, like, as gaffers and assistant camera person and that sort of thing. Anyway, but
yeah. So some of the crew is actually in the video.
Yeah, some of the crew's in the video,
and they just found out right now. So yeah, they're watching it.
You can only have so many people in one room and that sort of thing. So anyway,
yeah.
How
has your lives been personally since the beginning of the year when this all started?
I struggled a lot, like, the first month. I think, like, week 6, I kind of, like, lost it. But I've adjusted well, and
what was your I guess saving grace? What was there something that, I mean, music most likely.
Music. We started writing again. And just being in contact with people is really important, especially if you're really being strict about the stay at home. I live by myself, so it was extremely isolating. So week 6, I lost it. But you just have to make the effort to, call your friends and, say what's up.
Did you have like happy hours weekly? Daily? Weekly? We had weekly ones on Thursdays, but.
Oh, well, you know what we would do? Every Sunday night, we would tune into K-Rock because we were
there, and
we'd all listen in on the stream, and talk to each other the whole like 2-hour show. So that was fun. That was like fun family time, right?
I think,
Jim?
yeah, I've been communicating better with people too, that you normally wouldn't, or you wouldn't realize you could, and it seems like safer to do those things, like reach out to other people just to do the video and just see how, like a check-in.
Mm-hmm.
James,
Really,
are you by yourself besides your guitars? I mean, you have
Yeah, I am. Well, it looks a little like a little lonely because I haven't really decorated much, but I've
That's a
got.
good angle. That's not you thought of that angle.
Did I? Yeah,
Because you
I
go
guess
there
so.
and there's like, oh, there's a room. Well, actually, if you go back to your left, you got it looks like a record.
There's a door
You got
there,
a record.
but no, I mean, I feel like I think initially, yeah, I was pretty bummed out. Not even bummed out, like more just kind of lost. Like like Aimme was saying, like just kind of feeling like helpless in a lot of ways, just because it's like very new and a lot of unknowns, and like people were really worried. So I think naturally, yeah, I was like pretty having a hard time with it, and then like just kind of realizing that the whole world is feeling this way, and it's just like, what do you do? So I don't know. I still don't think there's an answer to that. I think it's just like one day at a time and try to keep your sanity however you can. We worked on a lot of music for part 2 of our record, which Aimme mentioned. That was a huge help, and you know,
did you feel like it expedited a little bit? It was like,
yeah, kind of. You know, there were some things to look forward to. Like when we shot the video, we kind of came together a few times to work on new songs, which all turned out great. So luckily, you know, it wasn't like that affected it too much, but it was more like you said, personally, yeah, I think we all suffered a lot. Like, I mean, not like suffered in the way that, you know, that I don't have a roof over my head or anything, but like suffered like mentally very, very, you know, like it's just been a trying time for sure.
You think you got it packed, and then it just clicks. It clicks, but it doesn't go anywhere. Aimme,
a lot of people were already feeling stressed before this whole thing started, right? Like people were already in a bad way or feeling like tired. And then so when this came, it was like, fuck, it's like, well, shit, you know what I mean? Like, so I definitely think it made it worse for a lot of people. And I'd say it definitely made it worse for us in some ways. But
what did you guys have lined up that you had to change?
a whole tour. Just a whole tour, like for the whole summer.
That is true. James did say, quote, "I will see you in Chicago." And I said, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty gutting, but you know, it's delayed. It doesn't mean we're not going to get out there.
No. What on the industry side, because I'm getting different versions, different stories, different perspectives. What have you seen as a silver lining to what could happen now, even though tour postponed? But what are your goals for getting this album out there, besides obviously being here talking to me? But what have you seen? Like, okay, we still got the summer ahead of us. We're halfway through the year, but we got a lot of stuff. What's getting you guys going?
James?
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's like we were saying just before Aimme got on, or joined the call, I should say. I think we all expected, yes, this one sort of way, this one passageway to the end of our year into the next year or whatever, like the same kind of routine. But in fact, what ended up happening was not that. So I think, well, what do we do? Like, what do we do in light of that? And I think that, like you were saying earlier in the broadcast, like one door opens or one door closes, a window opens or whatever. So I think we've just kind of like reconfigured. We still are going to be hitting it hard on radio, on alt radio. We're still going to be hitting hard with our promotion schedule and all of that. It's just the face-to-face stuff that's a little challenging. and we're gonna try to supplement that with more like well-produced live form content where we're playing, like acoustic or unplugged sessions, maybe do talking between the songs about how we became a band and just kind of keep the ball rolling on some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But basically part of the plan is sort of on hold. The rest of the plan is still very much in place, and we're still kind of like just kind of shimmy around, as needed.
Yeah, it's like a big chunk of the touring is gone, where the traveling part is gone, but you can still do a lot. And I like that you mentioned about stopping and talking, because I've been doing this show for about 3 years now, and it just happened that a band was on tour, that it was in a living room setting, and they just wanted, I didn't know much about them. They didn't know much about the station. We just talked about the stuff. I didn't really even know their stuff, but it was just so natural that now I'm finding bands like, oh, this is great. It's not just like your cheesy radio of top 40, like, hey, tell me about your influences and, why is your hair blonde? It's more just like, oh, okay. Like, you can take as long as you want. You could tell me anything that you want about your stuff, because, James, I think you told me this, but was that a cough?
He covered us.
It was a cough, but I covered up. So.
Good thing we never got that 3D through the computer stuff. About your website, you had on there talk. It's kind of a good biography. Like, I don't know if you wrote it. Maybe it was the prior one. The bio of the band was really well put. The point being, some bands have to go out of their way, and some people don't want to see a whole biography or go through Wikipedia. So it's giving the audience that extra, with CDs, I was thinking of one thing. We're talking about commentary, and Blu-rays and DVDs I still get, even though I do streaming, and having that extra content, like you forget about it. You're like, oh, why would I want a Blu-ray or DVD? And then you realize they have that extra interview, or that's something that you can't get anywhere else. And I'm finding bands are now doing that, because you might not have a physical CD and you might not have a liner in it, but you can still, like, no one knows that Aimme, after 6 weeks, kind of broke down from the pandemic, just those little things like, hey, this is really good. So I think this is a great opportunity for bands. You guys are still up and coming. You still are, what, 4 or 5 years in the making, since your start.
Yeah.
2016.
It depends on how you, like, where you want to, how you want to say the band, where it started exactly. But yeah, like, I'd say this iteration of the band is fairly new, within like a year or two. We've been sort of grooming this project for a number of years, for sure.
And maybe this is good that it's now for you're still trying out new ventures, and it sounds like you're already thinking ahead, like, okay, we're just gonna take this out and just go this avenue.
Yeah. Like, part of the reason why we ended up with so many of these souvenirs, or so many of these songs, and why we thought it'd be best to call it souvenirs, is sort of on account of the like sort of transformation and stages of the band. A lot of the songs last minute, we thought we were releasing a record a year and a half ago, right? For instance, but it just didn't happen, because when we sign our record contract, that's not the way they wanted to take it. So, it's like, yeah, I feel like, to your thing about extra content, we want to give people as much information and, give them enough to attach themselves to what we're doing, and also give them polished pop music or polished pop alt music. And I think we've done that really well with this. So I think 2020 is a great year for us, regardless of, all of this virus stuff. And we'll just keep hoping for the best,
it's symbolic too to have souvenirs be the name, since this is going to be a memorable year for everybody. And it's almost like you have now this souvenir, like the going back to the first single that we had heard, What They Call a Life. What was that meaning of that song? And what, James, were you more, or maybe Amy too, like how much writing was between you two on that song?
This was James. This was
That
from
was James. So the question would be, what was the initial meaning behind it on your end, and how would you maybe change it due to the type of title that it connects with modern times?
Well, I don't think I'd change the title. It's funny. A lot of people have the question about, well, is this supposed to mean something about the pandemic or the way the world is now? And it's funny because it's not. It was not planned that way at all. I don't know how funny that is, but it's not. I guess it's not. Yeah, it was never the intention to like play into this sort of crisis. It just kind of turned out that way, and sort of, I don't know. I don't know what, how that, some things just happen that way, I guess, coincidentally. But with that song, it's funny because we talk about, the different changes of the band and the stages of the songwriting and stuff. This was still kind of in the, like, 1 foot in the world of where, Aimme was less of a writer, but still a huge contributor to the sound, and a lot of her like vocals are like piercing through in the mix, which is awesome. Especially in the song, kind of gives it this powerhouse sort of feel. And then, as we've grown in and kind of sunk in, like letting things sink in, songs like Miss You, kind of showing the change there, So I guess like with this song, wouldn't change anything. Still think it's exactly what it was and how it's supposed to be intended or heard. The meaning of it is sort of realizing, the way I'm talking about what they call life is saying, like, this is what they, like, I'm explaining things in life that are like powerful moments in our lives, like, whether it be overcoming obstacles or whatever, I insert whatever. I think it's sort of talking about sort of this, it's sort of reflecting on sort of your life at this point and what you want out of it, or what you've done, and then also kind of has this sort of angsty element of like, like kind of like, you try so hard in this life for things you want, but it feels like sometimes you're spinning your wheels, you're not really going anywhere, and sort of grappling with this idea of like, is this my life? Like, is this what I want? And sort of thinking about it like that. So I don't know, I think people can find whatever meaning they want, but that's kind of how I feel.
You didn't do a video for this, correct?
Yeah, there is a video for it.
Oh, my bad.
The
dancer is,
because the dancer in the video, it just follows this dancer through New York City, and she's alone the whole time. And this was shot before the whole social distancing order came.
Huh.
So it was just,
again, it's coincidental.
Pathetic in a way.
Yeah, especially for New York. Well, I was thinking of a follow-up because some people have done, like I said, quarantine sessions, that if you did, like, and I got the same vibe from the song as well. It's like everyone either questions, this is my life, or we question others to say, well, I guess that's that person's life. It would be a good quarantine video, even if it's just you guys all in your little squares doing your little lives, and just been like, I guess this is our life. That's again unconnected, but that was kind of intent. But Baby Teeth, on the other hand, Baby Teeth is in itself a song that is nowhere near like a kiddie kind of song. I don't know why I thought that when I first heard it. I was like, Baby Teeth, and then I was like, this is a really kind of rockin' tune. So is most of what these songs are about, this transition, that James you bring up about where you guys are now, is Baby Teeth kind of like your band are now getting their baby teeth in
Hold
and
out.
at the teething stage right now because you want to get outside. But is that kind of could be an interpretation of the connection between these songs dealing with the band's now transition into where you are now?
I think that's an interesting assertion. I mean, certainly, and it's certainly symbolic of what baby teeth are and what the growing pains, what they are. I like this song. I think it's weird, man. Like, I don't know how much you know about songwriting or if you are yourself a songwriter, but I think a lot of times the initial message, or at least in the case of this song, or the initial thought is like sort of this abstract language that sort of you can mold around your feelings, or you can sort of allow yourself to sort of emote through this sort of language. And I think for us, I mean, this song is more about like a relationship between two people and how you can't change people. You know what I mean? But I think the name is symbolic of what you're saying. I think the song itself is more about like this relationship and also this idea of like people growing up in small American towns and how it's sort of, there's a contrast between sort of the small town aspirations and then like sort of how people grow out of that, and like or also how people don't grow out of that. They stay in that small fixture, And I think the song to me is about like, are you gonna step outside of that small town and follow something bigger, or are you just gonna stay? And there's no judgment either way. It's not like if you never leave your small town that you're a failure or that you're not doing something right. It's this idea about that and how that is a heavy and sort of, it's a cool idea. It's a cool concept, and I think a lot of our music kind of deals with these sort of, I don't know, these ideas, these big ideas of like, not even big ideas, like sort of like, there's a lot of emotion to unpack in something like that, and I think the song unpacks sort of all of the feelings around growing up, leaving your town, And I think if you think of it that way, yeah, baby teeth is symbolic of that for sure. I like that. I like the way you're interpreting it.
And I could see it even being about how you don't know what you're gonna get with baby teeth, because if you mess up in any ways, I was thinking the whole time you were talking about being stuck and how you get comfortable. So how babies would suck their thumbs, and so it ruins the teeth. And then you talk about the shape and so it's kind of like how they stay in their environment is how the permanent teeth would come out due to what they've decided to do with their development. There you go.
Magical, man. Magical.
This is why I don't drink during the day, because I'd be mumbling.
It's an interesting language, songwriting is, you're always just trying to translate a feeling.
Yes, and James, to go to your
different people, like I listen to that song and I just think about the growing pains. I'm just growing up and all the mistakes you have to make, to learn.
In order, and then if you keep making mistakes, you have to go to the dentist and get the teeth pulled out.
Exactly.
That was the only good news I got when, not only, I mean, there was a few things. I'm not that sad of a life, but it was the dentist saying, "Sorry, can't come in and pull that tooth. Can't." I was like, "Oh darn." It was like a impacted wisdom tooth that it's not a problem. It's just
I currently have one.
Yeah. So that was the only good news. What was I going to say about that? with so Missing You then is now I'm starting to see the connection between where it can go either way. It can be about the band. It could be about the relationship itself. So you have the video with it, where because James,
also
go
kind
ahead.
of missing the band too. The video.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it could be current, present, or it could be missing. Not necessarily the way things were, but when you're starting a band, on this side, that's what I was going to connect it with songwriting is you are constantly changing that. And I always ask that question. And I think I asked it in the last time, James, about like the writing process, because sometimes you will have an instrumentalist come into the band and just have the great riff and the great sound, but have no idea about words. And then you have the person with the words who doesn't have anything about the instruments. So it could Missing You sounds like video wise that it's about a relationship. But could it also then be about like missing how things were in the sense of the beginning of the band, the formation, going from this idea to now starting to see it's a grown up job that's you're going to have to work towards.
Are you directing this question at me specifically? Can we?
Yeah, James, I think it would be more for you because you're there from the start, but it was more. Could you see it being that way, or is it somewhat that way? Just connecting it to the other two songs, that Missing You could be. You talk about the struggles of current, and that's not even before COVID. I mean, before COVID, just like you got to get out there, you got to do all this work. Yeah. So, do you miss the simplicities? I'm just
right. No. I mean, there's a lot you can compare to what's going on now. Just like you were saying with the other songs, like they're obviously written. All these was written before we had any idea of what this situation was or is, right? But yeah, certainly as it in its current environment, like coming out this week, yeah, I think you could apply it to a variety of feelings about missing how life was, missing things you used to do, and never realizing how much you took it for granted. I think that's the big granted. I think that's the big thing people. When you hear this song, I think you realize that you kind of took it for granted, and now you're wishing you could go back and undo and try again. So yeah, I think in a bigger sense, in a broader sense, to me, when I hear this song, and I'll let Amy talk more because she actually wrote a lot more, and had conceptualized a lot more on this. But I feel like it's sort of this. It's kind of like a tell-all, like a confessional, if you will, from a seemingly wonderful person who's just going through a tough sort of situation, and she's sort of saying, "There's this about me that you don't know, or there's this about how I feel, and I miss you. This is what I do in my life when I feel this way, and I'm kind of it's like borderline crazy, but beautiful at the same time." Borderline, when a lot of people say when they're in love or when they're missing someone, they act kind of crazy. So I think there's a cool sort of aspect to it in that sense. But I think it's an attractive notion, this idea of somebody kind of telling the world, this is what, maybe I'm a little crazy, but this is how I feel, and this is what I do when I feel this way, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Amy, what do you think?
The concept was definitely more relationship based, and maybe some of the toxic aspects of a relationship. But you kind of love to hate each other. You always end up one of those back and forth type of relationships. But for me, when I listen to the song now, all I can think about is how much I miss my friends. So that's what I'm saying about songwriting. It's just what you're going through at that moment and how that song is going to relate to you.
And that was going to be my next final question to connect is what are you missing? It could be silly, it could be serious, it could be, but what are you like? James, you made a good point about taking things for granted, like taking things slowly and things like that. I think for me, missing would. I mean, see, I'm a concert goer. I know you, but that's a given. So, is there something that's not a given that people might not know about you guys that you're like, God, I kind of miss that?
I miss just being in a van, stuffed in a van with all these guys for like 8 to 10 hours.
And you're not even going anywhere. You're just sitting in a van.
Every gas station for the most disgusting food. Like, I miss that. I won't complain about it again. You know, it was just like great bonding. You know, you don't realize that until it's taken away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about you, James?
The freedom to do those things that, like, I always think it's funny how we were turning into such a, nobody wanted to go do their own grocery shopping. Nobody wanted to go to the retail places because Amazon could just bring it to you. And so you had all this culture around like staying home before the stay at home thing even was going on. And I think the biggest thing I just miss the everyday, like, I always like to go pick out things from the store. I like to go out there, and outside of my apartment, because it's like there's a freedom to do those things at will whenever I want. I don't have to sit in a weird line outside of the grocery store or whatever it is. I don't have to hear about these entitled middle-aged fat women who are pissed off about not being able to wear a mask or whatever. It's just, you really see like a lot of that. The last comment was kind of rude, but I feel like
I don't know if I'm going to cut that, because I would have went deeper and talked about how it's God's lungs and he's pushing the.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were on the edge, and they just this little bit kind of tipped them over. So I think we're all missing our sanity a little bit,
Either we're missing our sanity, or we're now become aware of our own sanity and others' insanity. Because some of these things that people say about not wearing masks and stuff, and just not believing this even exists, is insane.
It's bonkers, yeah.
It's almost movie-like. Last thing I was gonna say, miss you. Oh, so okay, let's move to the forward then. Albums out, souvenirs. What is there going to be anything else popping out of it in the sense of singles? Anything in the works that you want to maybe consider a next single? Might do a video for it, something like that.
That would be from Volume 2.
Volume 2, okay.
Unless we do like more covers.
Yeah,
you did. I think we talked about that last time. Yeah, James, we did. Yeah, we talked about the covers. Do you have any that you've done this year that we haven't heard yet?
Yes. So we actually have a premiere for. It's a more obscure Stevie Nicks song than maybe some new listeners might be aware of, but the song "Stand Back," she wrote it with Prince. It's
Stand Back.
Yeah,
I know it. Yeah.
Yes, so we have a sort of a down-tempo acoustic version, which is hard to kind of like fully, kind of like Ryan Adamsy, like how he did with Wonderwall. Remember?
Yeah. It's unfortunate that we can't say him, but yes, I just said it's unfortunate that we. Well, you know what? It was a while ago, but Ryan Adams got a whole big thing about pulling, but Wonderwall is my prime example for a really well done, owned cover. That if you don't know it was a cover, you think it's so fitting. And I was going to compliment you guys that you do that. Well, Wonderwall's not obscure for him, but you guys go that kind of like, I wouldn't picture you guys doing a Stevie Nicks, and then kind of you guys own it really well.
Yeah. I feel like when you get around to hearing this, or like you said, we're probably airing this after the fact, but I mean, when listeners hear it, I think they'll find something unique. And a lot of people don't realize that, like, it's in the back somewhere in your mind. Like, I've heard this before, but I'm not sure. But at the same time, it could just be a new song. I think that's cool because you kind of make it your own. So I think, you know, we definitely have made it our own, and it's a fun one for sure. And we're thinking about doing Love Fool. Like that way, I'll give Aimme all credit on that.
Oh, I could see you doing that, Aimme.
It's one of my favorite songs, and I feel like it would translate so well with a male-female.
And I almost feel like you could redo, like that would be a song where if you kept it original sound, that's fine. But I almost think you guys, if you did a video for it, can do like the exact same thing, like that they do in the video, like dye your hair blonde. You can. It's an idea, throwing it out there.
Yeah, well.
Don't get rid of your ideas.
I know. I've been asking, can I dye my hair blonde? Because y'all are blonde, and I want to fit in. They're like, no, leave your hair alone.
There's enough blonde people in this band already.
That is true. And you're already so color, like just the website right now is just like, I love I don't know if it was tied in with pride, but you know, your splash of ink and your paint and stuff. I just love the color when you can be together.
Oh, Baby Teeth video?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like that turned out so cool, and all the color, like you said, all the colors are pretty just vibrant and very cool.
What do you have? I'm looking at because I know you had 2 covers out. What I'm looking at them right now.
Wonderwall.
Did you do Wonderwall?
We did a little. That was like our initial.
Is that out though? I'm just going through iTunes right now. I just did not see that.
The covers can be found on YouTube, and we did them like quarantine style.
Got it.
You know, aesthetic, if you will. So you can see them there, and then the one is unlisted at the moment because, well, I don't know. You won't find it right at this very moment, but look for it. It'll be available.
Okay. I every band actually coincidentally that I've interviewed between fall and March have either gone completely covers. Almost everyone has done it, like some kind of EP or something like that. I do credit one idea from was this. Do you know Michigander? He's a Michigander. Well, anyways, he and I actually had this exact conversation, and he originally was a covers, and he was like, I don't want to just go that route, but then he got locked basically in Michigan, and so he every week would go online and do a cover, and then he issued a whole obscure, like he did in 1975, but it was like he wasn't thinking of that, and we were just going on and on about covers, and he's like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, probably not. Like, yes, you are. Oh,
yeah, we didn't think we were gonna do covers either, just because we had so much new material coming out anyway.
That Friday Pilots Club that you guys played with, they did an EP as well of covers.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah.
So you sent what's that?
I think it can go really well for a lot, for most bands who do it. It's like kind of.
Yeah, as long as you're not only doing that, you don't want to have that persona. But I don't think, honestly, I think you guys are on the right route with obscure kind of songs that aren't common, and then going and making it kind of your own.
Yeah. I sent you the link. You can check it out. I mean, are you familiar with the song "Stand Back"?
Yes, yeah. Stand Back. I didn't know it was with Prince. Written with Prince. Was she with him? I mean, written with him, or he's in?
Oh, wrote with him.
Oh, wrote with him. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys been collaborating? Is there anything that may be in the works in the sense of getting other bands together?
Well, so yeah, actually, I mean, I don't know how public this. I don't know if the song, what the story with it is, or how it'll come out. But we did write recently with Twin XL and the guy from the Ready Set, singer guy from Ready Set. So Jordan and Caleb or Cameron. Cameron.
Okay.
Brandon and Cameron, they're great guys. They're really sweet, very talented.
It's happened, but we don't. It's like don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah, but I think we were there a couple weeks ago. It was really cool. Who knows? Because these things take forever, it seems. Mm-hmm. So who knows when that'll come? But I think it's definitely cool. And like for the question's sake, I mean, we've been collaborating. It was one of the first sessions that they did since COVID or whatever, mm-hmm. And I think people are slowly getting back to that, but it's still like kind of touch and go, like not sure.
No touch.
Cancel, because they weren't sure and that kind of thing. So
and that went back to what I stated earlier about I think it was like Jimmy Fallon or somebody like that, but it was like the freedom to just do this, just to hit a button and just start talking, and then the collaborations, the opportunities seem to be more so because when you're on tour, you have your set of stuffing yourself in a van, like Aimme had mentioned, and then you have like your supporting band or something like that. But now you're wanting to do what you're not just hearing what they're playing. Other bands are playing. You're actually like just reaching out to them and having that talk, and then they all of a sudden like put something together, like right then and there.
Right.
Do you have a wish? Who would be like somebody that's on your wish list?
To write with or tour with?
Let's go with just the more chance of writing with somebody.
I'm kind of obsessed with Haim right now. I think they're so cool. I would love to work with them or tour with them.
Yeah.
That summer record that they just put out is
it was well done. Yeah. Well done, timed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know. There's so many good artists, it's tough to say, but
okay. We'll say Stevie Nicks just because that's coming up.
Yeah.
Because maybe it'll go really well, and then she'll listen to it, and then she'll. Oh, Aimme, you got cut off. Say that again.
I was saying we can open up for a Fleetwood Mac reunion tour.
Or just she'll hear the song, she'll love it, and then she'll come on and sample it. Maybe she'll put. That'd
be really cool. She's like my idol.
That's what I mean. I just feel like it's so casual. Like all these celebrities even saying like, "Yeah, I got on the phone with so and so and so and so. Never met him." Mm-hmm. All right, guys. I'm gonna let you continue your day because, well, it's 4:00 here, but it's 2:00 over there. Enjoy. Ending these things have changed for me because they always end optimistically before, where it's like, oh, okay, I'll see you guys on that day and we'll reconnect. But when is the second volume? What's the timeline now of music being put out and?
So second volume will be mid-October, probably. What a Friday in October, let's say like the 16th or maybe the 9th or the 23rd, somewhere around there.
I won't hold you to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just wondering because I was like, we'll follow up with you guys for that one.
I don't think it used to lose time frame. It's just we literally got a call yesterday talking about this, mm-hmm. And I was like, so what are we thinking, like October 9th or so?
Well,
I'm really excited for volume 2 to come out. I feel like it's kind of shows exactly where we are, in this moment. So.
Okay. Yeah. Is this Souvenirs Volume 1? Is that the title? Full title?
Yes, Volume 1 is the first part that comes out this Friday.
Right. And then second, it will be Souvenirs Volume 2?
Volume 2.
Oh. Do you have the artwork done already, I assume? I'm just picturing suitcases right now, and I'm like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Do a limited edition.
We do have it. I don't know if I can do this over here, but how do I
send a photo?
I'm trying to see in the chat if I can like send you like a picture or something.
Oh, that's a good point.
Really cool.
Just
here, let me. Is it cool if I?
Yeah.
Send you a link.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super. I mean, it's not. You're not far off from what you're.
Yeah, I just picture like if you did something like a limited edition at some point.
Yeah,
You could put a little face mask in it.
that would be. You get like souvenirs, COVID like style.
Babies first, baby's teeth, and then you
just
could
a bunch
put
of like Amazon packages.
Right, like an Amazon smile that's like upside down, like sad face.
Who did the art? I mean, who came up with
This fabulous company, Tension Division. I mean, they do. They're like just like Under Wonder content. They're like a huge company. I don't know how we ended up getting so lucky to work together, but they're really rad. They're great.
They're tense.
Yeah, super cool company, and like, yeah, Tension Division is what they're called. But yeah, I want to show you this. I'll just get your live reaction to it. I just gotta, because of the way my video is set up, I kind of have to do this like a roundabout way. But here, just one second.
You'll see a lot of these souvenirs in the album artwork and in the Miss You video as well. We kind of hid them in. Just a title, you know.
There's a lot of continuity or just connecting various, like even from the pictures we took, from the video, everything kind of has a nice
connection. But and like there might be some hidden stuff in there too that only like you guys know.
Right. Yeah, like
that's cool.
If you look really closely, you might find some baby teeth lying around somewhere in the video.
Or Amy stuck in a van.
I just sent you this.
Oh, okay, I see it. Okay, here we go. Drop.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Let me open this. Does it? What? No. Hold on. See that? I think the only thing I don't like about Google is that it's a web page. It's a browser. So if you hit the wrong button, like Zoom at least is an application. Oh, okay. So I actually was noticing this when the singles for Baby Teeth was you also had this connection with hands.
Right.
Both singles have a hand in it. But this just has so there's that one. I love this. So is this every song?
You know, yeah, that's the idea, is that each sort of scenario or each relic is sort of tied into a song or a feeling.
And some don't seem to be obvious, so that's also a cool.
Some literal and some are more of a feeling.
Yes. I do sometimes feel like a pelican, or what is that? Flamingo. Sorry.
Football every day. So
that's cool. I like that. And I do see some liquor, I think. So that's definitely cool. I like that. That's great. Good job. See, you're creative while you're out doing nothing. All right. Well, stay well. I'm glad you guys are doing well. Amy, it was good to see you and have you be part of this.
Thank you.
And I'm going to see how we're going to edit this up. And because we were going to do we're trying to do Instagram Live, but it would be tricky with obviously two of you. And we don't want to give too much away. And then, we'll be back in touch. I'm sure singles are going to be popping out in the next fall. It seems like so far away, but I was like, oh my God, it's almost middle of July already.
I know.
I'm kind of in a 2021. I'm just like, let's roll through this year. Let's get there. Holidays, boom. We're going to have like 2021, have the vaccine. We'll be good to go. Like, let's do this.
That will be the next souvenir.
I just want to wake up and have it be January 1st and everything, all the problems just be left behind. Might be a little naive, but I'm hoping.
Okay. Or maybe the end of January might be nice. It might the political climate might be a little different.
That too. But just be calm.
Just calm. There we go.
Yeah.
That's all you got. You got all this work to celebrate and get out there, and I will do my best to get that out there. I won't do this now just because of sound quality, but I'll ask your guy if I can get some IDs for the songs. So I'll ask, or well, James, I don't know how I like. I would give
a liner like, "Hey, what's to miss you on?" Yeah.
Yeah, but just like do it on your own time.
Sure.
So, should I go through your guy or
over?
What's that?
Well, we can get you a few of those over.
Yeah, just send definitely for those 3 songs because Baby Teeth and the life. I keep saying it wrong. I keep calling it My So-Called Life, which when I heard it, I was like, you need to get Claire Danes and Jared Leto back together. But for Miss You for sure, because we'll basically start that this week. We'll add it. Cool. All right. Stay cool. Stay healthy, and keep collecting those souvenirs.
Yes, sir. You do the same.
There you go. All right, guys. Thanks. I will be in touch.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.